Factually inaccurate. Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky held a press conference this week to warn the public about a deadly new, quote, stealth COVID-19 variant that causes negative test results and has no symptoms.
This deadly variant has bypassed our most sophisticated tests by ingeniously becoming harmless to the human body. It's estimated that 8 billion people have caught this variant. We must prevent it from spreading further by closing the schools and locking up the kindergarten children.
The CDC director's guidance to close schools and stem the tide of this stealth variant is backed by data that's been thoroughly and rigorously altered, proving that public school teachers are the most susceptible, testing negative a whopping 100% of the time and often succumbing to the worst symptom-free symptoms. Meanwhile, Pfizer announced an early development of a new 103% effective vaccine, followed 3.8 seconds later by approval from the FDA. With skyrocketing costs and grid failures across California, the Californian government is recommending everyone purchase a giant human-sized hamster wheel to generate electricity to charge their electric cars. The new wheel, currently being developed by top engineers working for the state of California, will stand 8 feet tall and look incredibly stupid. Early users report that a full charge requires the equivalent of a 38-mile sprint. With giant hamster wheel sales off to a sluggish start, Governor Gavin Newsom has assured everyone that they'll have plenty of electricity to spare as soon as everyone leaves the state to live in Florida instead.
Everyone, I understand your frustration, but by the end of the year, with everyone leaving California, we're going to cut our energy usage in half. In fact, so many are headed to Florida that the few of us who remain will be able to do cool stuff like use air conditioning and charge iPhones.
Newsom explained that he's optimistic that as more and more abandon the unlivable, unaffordable mess he's making out of California, this will create a surplus in all resources for those who remain.
Look, folks, anyone willing to stoop so low as to move to a state with plentiful energy, strong education, and safe neighborhoods without hundreds of homeless is not Californian at all. And to people like that, we say, good riddance.
Newsom later realized he'd made a huge mistake, as the only people left in California were now himself and 200,000 homeless people.
Hey, mister, change. You got change.
Joe Biden has once again hit the campaign trail to give speeches about America's soul and tout his credentials as a fighter for equality. During his recent speech, the president mentioned how he was very involved in the civil rights movement and even got to man the fire hose one time.
Listen here, folks. I fought hard during the civil rights movement. No joke. I was always there, working tirelessly, standing up for what was right and what I believed in. It was a big deal. Seriously. They even let me man the fire hose and blast all the protesters. Wait, what's the big deal? I sprayed them down and fought for equality. Or as I like to call it, separate but equality. For real.
According to sources, the president's wife desperately tried to pull Biden off the stage, but it was of no use.
I was a big deal to the civil rights movement. I once called the cops after I saw a corn pop trying to drink out of the whites only water fountain. I was a hero in my community.
At airtime, Biden's divisive speech was polling horribly with independents and conservatives, while core Democrats highly approved. An anonymous White House aide has leaked sensitive information which confirms the validity of rumors that have long been circulating throughout the nation's capital. Joe Biden quiet quit the presidency several months ago.
I first became suspicious after his 54th vacation. I only get 2 weeks a year. But when he started to literally spend all of his time binge watching Bluey and eating goldfish crackers, it really became evident that he just wasn't even trying anymore.
According to sources, it was common to see the president aimlessly wandering the halls of the White House ever since he took office. But now even high-ranking members of the administration have been forced to admit that Biden's already low engagement has fallen to abysmal levels they never could have imagined. Lead Secret Service agent Sean Keller admitted,
"I wish he'd wander off again. Watching the leader of the free world lounge around all day watching Disney Junior? It's demoralizing."
At airtime, Biden slipped past his Secret Service detail and was caught eating flowers from the White House rose garden. Agents were able to lure him back inside by leaving a trail of gummy bears to follow.
Ooh.
They then shoved him in the basement.
Works every time.
Officials running the FBI investigation into former President Donald Trump's possession of allegedly classified nuclear documents were sent scrambling to halt their work after learning the documents in question are actually just printed out emails from Hillary Clinton's private server.
"We were all set to see this through to the end and hopefully indict Mr. Trump on very serious charges, but we're now officially ending the investigation,"
said Special Agent Owen Gaffney in a prepared statement.
"We discovered that these sensitive documents were, in fact, printouts of emails originally belonging to Hillary Clinton. And we're just not going to go anywhere near that.
After learning about the abrupt end of the investigation, Trump lashed out on his Truth Social account.
There is a clear double standard of justice in this country, and it's truly a shame. My beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago, was unjustly raided by swarms of corrupt FBI agents. But crooked Hillary Clinton can illegally store tens of thousands of classified emails and get away with murder, literally without consequences. Sad. Stop murdering people, Hillary.
When pressed for more information as to why the FBI would not be moving forward with the investigation, Agent Gaffney grew visibly nervous. Look, Hillary Clinton, her family members, her staff, anyone who works with her are completely innocent, okay? and that goes for President Biden, his son, Hunter, and basically any high-ranking Democrat, okay? You hear me? Just don't make me talk about it. I don't want to die. After yet another delay, NASA is halting immediate plans to pursue an Artemis 1 launch and will scrap the program altogether and fake another moon landing instead.
This is just much cheaper,
said Jim Free, Associate Administrator for NASA's vaunted Exploration Systems Division.
No one will be able to tell the difference anyway. The tech has gotten much better since the last time we faked a moon landing. It's not even close.
Free said the new plan will give his team a much-needed break.
With CGI and other technological leaps we've made since 1969, we basically don't have to do anything. This is much easier, and I've been saying we should do it this way for months.
NASA Administrator Bill Nelson added that the team has gotten lots of practice at faking things ever since Biden came into office.
Those speeches where he sounds coherent and not senile? 1000% us? And let me tell you, those are a lot harder to fake than any moon landing. This is off the record, right?
The fake landing is scheduled for November 14th in Burbank, California. According to sources, Hell's Kitchen superhero Daredevil was overheard thanking God for making him go blind and saving him the horror of watching She-Hulk twerk with rap artist Megan Thee Stallion.
I have no problem facing a dozen ninjas from the hand on my own, or even battling the diabolical schemes of the Kingpin. But when I heard about She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. It was the first time I'd ever been thankful to be blind.
People who did see the twerking fiasco were appalled at the sight and began crying out for Earth's mightiest heroes to save them from the torture. Others begged for Thanos to return and end things once and for all. Said one eyewitness, quote, "It was the most wretched thing I've ever seen, and I've watched Rings of Power." Daredevil has reportedly begun rethinking his entire purpose in life.
If that's what is required to be a superhero these days, I don't know if I have it in me. I'm supposed to be saving Hell's Kitchen from falling into a cesspool of crime and corruption. I'm not even sure it's worth saving anymore.
At airtime, Disney Plus confirmed the next season of Daredevil will include a dance number featuring Daredevil and Harry Styles in a dress. Now you're up to date on the only news that matters. Find more fake news you can trust at BabylonBee.com. Until next time, this is Austin Robertson, the voice of the Babylon Bee. So long.